Head up. Good. Sit. Yes, this is Toby. Toby the Wonder Dog. Okay, now, Toby, shake it off. Shake. Oh, good boy. Now you look pretty. It was interesting because I had worked with this man before. His name is Frank Simeon, and we worked on the Ewoks adventure together for George Lucas. I supplied all the horses for it, and I stunt doubled the witch in it, too. So out of the blue, I get a call from him. That was done in 1985. This call came in January 2011. And so I was like not expecting him to call me. And all of a sudden there's his voice on the machine saying that he's going to be working on a big movie that has a lot of animals in it. And he's going to be working on it. And he thought I might be able to help on it. So, of course, I called him right away because I couldn't believe it myself. And I was like, wow, out of the blue, a voice from the past, right? And I said, wow, that's amazing that you and I haven't talked all these years and now you have something that you would want me to work on. And he goes, well, it has a lot of animals in it. And he remembered all the work I did on the Lucasfilm. And we worked well together on that. So I said, well, sure, shoot, tell me what's going on. And he listed off cats and a turtle and goats and horses, and there was a lot. So he says, well, I'm gonna get back to you on it, but you know, I wanted you to know about it. So I said, well, I'm interested, definitely. And of course, I started ahead of time looking into cats, seeing whether I could even get them. You know, the horse, I got on that right away, looked for a horse that could rear. You know, those kind of things, if you don't do them right away, it's going to go to somebody else. And then when they say, hey, we're ready, you know, you've got the stuff lined up. Okay, so I'm going to take all of these. I'm going to ask him to pick up, like, a certain item. All right, now I'll give it to him. Toby, put it in the box. Good boy. Now pick up your other one, put it in the box. Good boy. Got to get them all back in there. Good boy. Pick up another one. Box. Good. Pick up a toy. Box. Good boy. Okay, we still got some more. Put it away. Box. Good boy. And another one. Pick it up. Box. Well, in the beginning, I wasn't sure if they were going to go for the ones. If I got movie-trained cats from L.A., it would cost them more. So in my talking with Frank, I found out that they really wanted to hold the budget down on that because they were going to have some A-list actors in this. At the time, he couldn't name, you know. But he told me that they were big. And he goes, they are coming on board, and even with that, they were going to cut their fees to whatever their scale is in the union. They were going to do something like that, but it still is going to cost a bunch. And they were going to be the priority, obviously. So I said, well, the cats are important. I understand that because Hemingway was known for his cats and his polydactyls. So, you know, once I realized what they wanted, I had decided I better get a feel of what's out there because I don't keep cats around just to work with them. There's not enough work. And I really adopted the whole thing of not keeping a kennel full of animals that are just living in kennels. Ever since I came to Northern California, I use other people's animals or I round them up, you know, through people that have what I'm looking for, and more like the Rolodex thing, I keep it on file. But in this case, I didn't have any cats, so I needed to get them. And I put an ad on Craigslist looking for people's cats in the beginning. And the director had only indicated like about 6 at that time that he wanted. The Craigslist ad was a great idea because I put in the title, looking for cats that are friendly for a movie to shoot in San Francisco. You know, cat-friendly cats. Then I went on to describe what we were doing and that I needed pictures and I needed cats that were real friendly and not spooky and, you know, handable. And that's how I actually got them through that. So in the beginning, they were responding like crazy. I couldn't believe how many people wanted their cats in the movie. Different ones, polydactyls, all kinds, you know. They were sending me polydactyl because I asked for that. And that's the 6-toed or 7-toed cats. That's what he's known for, too, Hemingway. So in any case, once I found out that it was going to be more cats, one of the people that responded to me on Craigslist actually works as a foster home for adopting cats out and gets them out of a high kill shelter in Kings County. And her name is Lori, and she lives in El Dorado Hills, so she responded to me. And I said, well, if you want to get in on this thing with me, I'm going to need a lot more cats than I thought from one source. Because in order to get cats that would get along with each other, you got to have a bunch that are all acclimated to each other. It's hard to put a bunch of different people's cats together and hope that they'll get along. They were rescued shelter cats that, yeah, they could have been put down, but because she rescues them and gets them through the process, they would have been adopted out. But because we were doing this, she got more cats. We had to get a lot more than originally planned. She ended up with something like 17 cats in her house. They found this place to do their writing, and when they got there, that's the first thing they see is all these cats. Then Clive Owen is supposed to pick one up, and he carries it around, and they discuss, oh, this place is wonderful, we could fix it up, and they do, but he doesn't want to get rid of the cats. He leaves them there, and they're everywhere. And you'll see him in the movie, they portray that he had lots of cats there. That's how they get the dog to look natural, is you take the natural things and turn it into a behavior. Down, on your side, this way, on your side, head down, good boy, stay. So we needed cats to sit around and be comfortable to stay in one place. Then we needed cats that maybe could come when called and maybe do what we call run-throughs. And we thought we were going to do more of that. But the baby food, we use baby food for the reward because it licks up easier for the cats. And I learned this from Frank Yin when I first learned to work with cats in the 70s when we were doing all those cat food commercials. We did the baby food on a spoon. And the reason for the spoon is so you don't get nailed by the cat's claws reaching for the food, because they do. They have a tendency to want to grab at it. We had to find which ones had the quiet temperaments that might lay around. We had certain groupings of cats we had to weed through for the sitting around cats, for the ones that would want to do some action. Now, this one, of course, is a trick one, the crawl. Stay down, down, and crawl. Down, and crawl. Down, and crawl. Down. Down. You're anticipating. You're going to have to do it again. And I needed quiet on the set. I needed things to be so that we could work with them because cats are like a wild animal in that sense, and they have a mind of their own. And things can disturb them. We didn't know because they'd never worked in an environment like this. I was trying to get cooperation, and I had a hard time getting it, too, because Nicole and Clive were the stars. Let's figure that. The cats, even though they were important, we had to work around the main actors. So they wouldn't bring them in until everything was set and blocked, and stand-ins did all that with the lighting and everything. But the cats were also brought in. And I would try to get them to work with me on that, not to bring them in too soon, you know, because we'd wear them out or we'd use up what we had with them. Again, not being movie trained, I had to, you know, be clear on let's not wear them out, you know, and lose what we got. So in that one scene where Nicole had to speak quite a bit, that one was really focused on her at the desk. They wanted the cats to be placed around and like lots laying there and stuff with her, and she was annoyed with it. Her whole character in this was that she wasn't happy with the cats. But I did talk with Nicole about it because there were a couple things we had to do with her picking up and scooping up those two big cats. I thought we would need to practice. HBO wanted her to pick them up by the scruff of the neck, and I said no. I said absolutely not, and we did have an AHA rep on the set too. So I said no, but I would like to practice with her picking them up because they're big. So they didn't leave us any time, though. By the time we set up the shot and we were doing it, do you know what they started to do in the beginning? They started making this bomb explosion sound that supposedly Ernest Hemingway was doing outside with his buddies. It was in the script, but I thought they for sure wouldn't do it with the cats, and I had told Frank about it, and he says, well, I can't see them doing that either. They can sync it in later and cue her to the sound. But you know what they did? They did the sound when we had the cats in the crates, before we actually brought them out, and it freaked them out because they heard the sound. So I had to go through that with them too. I had to tell them, look, you guys can't do this. You're freaking our cats out, and I didn't think they would. But even though I tried to head that off at the pass, it still ended up happening. There were a lot of hurdles I had to work with that were undermining me all the time to try to get this work done, and I was working with less than to begin with. I mean, the cats were not movie trained either, so, I mean, it was just really hard. And for some reason, they did not want the director or the first AD to know that these cats were rescue cats. I don't know why, because that would have helped me out. But I was supposed to be hush-hush about that. They didn't want them to know. And yet, to me, it would have given me an edge on how difficult this was, and would you guys cooperate with me more? With Border Collies, they're so anxious to go to the next thing, they jump the gun a lot of times. Down. And I try to slow them down. Crawl. Down. Crawl. Crawl. Down. Crawl. Okay, stay there. Good. Now, that particular scene, we put the cats in after this explosion sound. And it was really hard to keep them in there for the entire shot. The guy, the first AD, Spike, he says to me, well, how about if you just listen to this and tell me when it's soft enough? And I said, it will never be soft enough. You don't get it. It's spooking the cats. You can't do it at all. And had they discussed this with me ahead of time, like I had tried to get them to do, we would have never had that problem. But they did a lot of things without thinking about what it's going to take to get those shots done. So what it ended up being was we had to shoot the cats without Nicole. The bottom line was we ended up doing that. They shot the cats as they wanted to see them with her. Because of all the things that happened, that's what we ended up doing. And then they shot her part without the cats and put it together. Because it's all digital, they could do that. And it looked just like the cats were with her. We had to do it that way because of the mess that they created with trying to keep them in there so long. You know, I mean, I didn't have them tied down or anything, you know, and baby food can only work so long. You know, I mean, once the cat licks it up, it's like, okay, I'm curious, let's go jump, you know. So we did that, and we were able to keep them in with no noise, nothing going on, and Lori and I stayed close. We were just behind the camera on one side and the other to keep the cats there. Push it, Toby, push it, push it. Good boy. Push it, Toby. Push it. Push it. It's really funny when you put an animal in and he pushes it around. Good boy. It was harrowing at times and stressful, but I mean, I'm glad I did it because I don't think they could have done it with anybody else. As fact that I had all that experience working with cats, it would take somebody like me crazy enough to think of doing something like that with other cats, you know? Because of my background and because I had the confidence of knowing how to work with cats and get them to do things. Otherwise, it probably never would have happened. They would have had to go to the LA Cats. And I did save them money, you know, not bringing up the other trainers. I was trying to work with them within their budget and still get the job done. Now, Toby's going to say his prayers to Poppy because Poppy wants a treat. Toby, say your prayers. Hold it. Come here. Say your prayers. Hold it. Hold it. Good boy. Very nice. Good job, Toby. Even rescue cats could make, you know, stars and starlets and turn into that. But I mean, because I was able to do that with them, we used them. And then afterwards, they all got adopted out, too, which was a nice ending for that. Right, Toby? Toby.
Oh, are you ready? Good boy. Are you a good boy? Yes, you are. Why? Where's the ball? Good boy. Yeah, good.
I got a Patsy Award, but I got it for working with the cat on Mannix and Barnaby Jones. This was the opening trailer every week that everybody got to see on TV. It was showing the black cat named Midnight was wearing a jeweled collar, and he was stalking. And then he like stalked up to the desk, jumps on the desk, and from the desk he jumps up onto the file cabinet. And in those days, you know, they were showing the cast of players who was in the show, in the TV show. And it hit the file and opened up, it fell on the floor and then showed the cast of players. So that's how they used the cat. You can see every place I've moved, I've managed to keep it around somewhere where I could look at it again, because it is pretty special. And on this particular Patsy Award, we had Betty White as the host, and Alan Ludden as the host. Little did I know as a kid, as a young person, because I was like 23 when I did this, that I would win such a prestigious award.
It's not nice to fool Mother Nature.
During that time, that was big. I mean, if you go to look for it, that's the only one they seem to have on there, and we did others. I mean, there were others, but that animal one, with all the wild animals around her, and then the director went to each one of us and said, we need to get a reaction to Mother Nature doing the lightning. So what are you going to do with yours? And then when he got to me, I said, well, Tico knows how to cover his eyes. I taught him that. Would you like to see it? And he goes, yeah, let's see that. So I did, and he goes, oh, that's perfect. I love that. And so little did I know that he was going to focus on Tico till we saw the commercial. Because, you know, they shoot a lot of stuff, and then when they edited it, it was Tico's commercial.
And Goldilocks said, who's been eating my porridge?
Mother Nature, was this on the porridge?
Yes, lots of my delicious butter.
That's chiffon margarine, not butter.
Margarine? Oh, no, it's too sweet, too creamy.
Chiffon so delicious it fooled even you, Mother Nature.
Oh, it's not nice to fool Mother Nature. If you think it's butter, but it's not. It's chiffon.
And then I did the movie with Jimmy Stewart called The Magic of Lassie, and I was the third trainer, I guess, as a woman to work with Lassie, which was pretty good. I mean, that's big. In those days, you know, women didn't have the rights they do now, and it was really dominated by men.
And turn. Pirouette. And turn the other way. Good. Now that way. Come here. Let's turn you the other way. You're going to get dizzy. There you go. Good girl. Come here. Good job, Poppy. Good job. Good girl. Oh, you're so good. All right, give me 5. Oh, good girl. Good job, Poppy.
You know, I had that interest as a young person. I loved dogs, I loved horses, I loved cats. So I think I just followed my love of the animals, which led me to that path at a very young age. I mean, right out of high school at 18, I started in with looking for that career. And before that, I was hoping to be a guide dog instructor, but I actually got turned down. They weren't hiring women. The only school in North Hollywood, right? And so at 18, what are you going to do with that? I mean, it was at a time where women didn't really have the rights to push forward on it, and I was very young and naive, so I just thought, well, I do love dogs, and I'll pursue the training aspect of it. And through doing training in a kennel in Burbank, I found out about becoming an animal trainer for the movie business. And that lit me up like, now I can see me getting advanced there.
High five. Sit. High five. High five. Good boy.
When I got there, I was like in awe of all the animals they had. It was like a zoo, because he had Bill the bear, Arnold the pig, he had all the Filmways production animals, plus he was doing all the cat food and dog food commercials and lots of TV shows that were going then. He had animals like Tramp from My Three Sons, which I got to work on. Yeah, with Fred McMurray. So, and then the Partridge Family, I got to work with Simone, which was actually the producer's dog. Then after that, I went to freelancing, and that's when I got chosen to be the dog trainer on Little House on the Prairie, to work with Michael Landon and Jack the Shaggy Dog and Bandit the Border Collie. So I was with them for a couple of years. Then when I had to leave was only because the dog Bandit, who was Jeff, belonged to Ray Berwick at Universal. And he wanted his nephew to be the one to do the work on the show. And Michael wanted me to stay, but once they signed the contract for the dog, then he had to go along with who he wanted. So then I was off. But then I did Bad News Bears with Jack Warden and my dog. And I mean, I had the opportunity to work with Johnny Mathis and his dog. I got to work with Johnny Cash in a commercial in Tennessee. So it lent itself to a lot of opportunities to work with actors and actresses with the animals. But the animals was my first love. So, you know, it didn't bowl me over working in that business. It didn't ever go to my head. I kept the levelness of it was what kept it real, was working with the animals, because everything else is fake in that business. But the animals were real, and it brought out the real, I guess, personalities in people. You got to see the love of the animal with everybody I was working with, and it was always a highlight to be on the set with an animal, because then everybody wants to see the animal and enjoys having them on the show, whatever show I was doing. They're scene stealers.
Wave bye-bye. Wave bye-bye, Toby. Wave bye-bye. Wave bye-bye. Come on, big wave. Big, big, big. That's it. Good boy. All right. Good.